Las Vegas is about to roll the dice on one of the most controversial sporting events in history. Today, world-class athletes will openly compete with the help of banned performance-enhancing drugs at the Enhanced Games, branded the Steroid Olympics by critics.
Olympians, including Australian swimmer James Magnussen, will chase world records across swimming, track and weightlifting, plus a cut of $35 million.
The World Anti-Doping Agency have slammed the Games as irresponsible, while the event's CEO says they're just regulating what's already in the shadows.
And for their insights, we're joined by Olympian Sally Pearson and Dr. Zach Turner. Good morning to you both. Sally, what's your reaction to the Enhanced Games?
Well, Shervo, I know you're in particular going to have something to say about this, and I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts on it. But I suppose at the start, I'm quite intrigued to see how they're going to pull this off, and if they're going to get the results that they're after. I think I'm looking at it more of a scientific experiment to see if it actually works. I know that there's probably about 10% of athletes that won't be using the banned substance, and I would really be cheering for those guys. But it is really quite interesting. It touches on so many different things. Shervo, we come from a traditional sporting background where there's no drugs allowed in the sport. So I think as an ethics point of view, it is quite hard for us to understand this. But I suppose if you look at it as a science experiment to see if the drugs are going to be working or not, or if they've actually helped, help them in their performances, it's going to be a different story to tell as well. So I'm really intrigued to see how they're going to pull this off and see if they get the results that they actually want.
Yeah, at the end of the day, and I think a lot of athletes involved in it say it's a dash for cash. They just want to get paid. They'll dope to the gills, to quote them, to get the cash. I think the biggest issue with is integrity. The idea that they brought the super suits in for the swimmers, which was banned in 2009 because they were breaking world records with it. Plus, on top of that, you've got the performance enhancing of the actual human body itself as well. Really hard to know what's going to be the advantageous thing. Is it going to be the doping? Is it going to be the super suit? The other thing is, has anyone measured the pool? Has anyone measured the length of the track itself? Because the idea that they have to get a world record to prove that it's going to be successful, how do we even know that the length of the track is right? Because, you know, they've already said that they're doing everything they can to get that world record. Who knows? Maybe it's a 98-metre track. I don't know. Sal, would you do it?
Oh, definitely not. Definitely not. I've always been so against the sport, drugs in sport as well. And for me, I was always terrified that if something like that ever happened to me, I would have a heart attack on the spot. I'm not clued up on what the drugs are in the sport, and so I always thought that it's going to make me sick. I'm going to die from taking these steroids. So definitely wouldn't do that. There's a line that I definitely would not cross. I wanted to be the best athlete in the world, but there's certainly lines that I would never cross.
Yeah, Dr. Zach, good time to bring you in. People on our text line have said it should be called the Cheaters Games. It's not sport, but others say they are adults. Let them do what they want. Is it dangerous?
Yes, I mean, these aren't vitamins we're talking about. We're talking about athletes taking doses of hormones and steroids that are far greater and far more than the body would never naturally produce. And a lot of the medical risks are serious and well established. Everything from heart attacks, from strokes. The cardiovascular damage that can happen in young athletes can, in some cases, be irreversible. And I think the biggest thing about this is that while some of these athletes might have medical supervision, in the case of some of these athletes, a lot of the people that are watching this and a lot of the athletes trying to get into these games are not going to have medical supervision with all the testing that's needed for people even thinking about going down this sort of path for a short period of time, because the damage really here, and as Sally said, like there's these kinds of lines that you don't want to cross, and especially when you're trying to promote things to young people who are all about looks maxing and everything else. There's something here would be really about performance maxing.
Zach, is it more dangerous the fact that they have generically said that, you know, 90% of people are on testosterone, 79% of people are on human growth hormone, they're using Adderall, a stimulant, they're using anabolic steroids, but they're not actually saying how it's administered, under what circumstances, under what supervision. Should they release, do you think, the whole regime, at the very least to understand medically what is happening to their bodies?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, for not wanting to kind of give people complete ideas around this, but there's lots of different types of testosterone esters. So there's lots of different types of products that they're on. And I don't think any of these athletes, if you're having a 90% uptake of testosterone esters, so which means that different testosterones that act over different periods of time, they're going to be on 5 or 6 or 7 different types of medications. And some of the reports and some of the people that I've been chatting to in this space are saying that they're on 5 or 6 different things from stimulants through to, so when we call them uppers and downers is in some ways a little bit of a joke, but they're stimulating themselves before the race, and then they're doing a whole lot of other things pre and post. And they're not giving us what they're doing to keep it safe, whether they're doing regular blood tests and how they're going about chatting to their doctors about keeping these sorts of levels that are not going to harm them long term.
Sally, to Shervo's point, if no one breaks a world record, and I think they get paid $1 million if they break a world record, if no one does, it may look like a failure. So do you think there will be rules broken to make sure someone does to make this event look successful?
Well, they're already taking these drugs, aren't they, in sport? So who knows what they're capable of doing? And as Shervo said, what is the track going to be short? Because I don't think I would hope not, that we're going to not see a world record in the men's 100 metres. It's probably impossible for them to be able to do that without making the track short, particularly if Fred Curley is going to be the one racing. So I wouldn't put it past them if that's what they're going to be doing. But yeah, who knows?
I mean, Fred Curley is competing clean, apparently. He wants to go to the LA Olympics whilst he's already on a doping ban at the moment. So it's just, yeah, all over the shop, just an odd thing to be doing.
OK, thank you very much for giving your views. It will be very interesting to see, and it's highly controversial, isn't it?